Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very, very special edition of Investing with Confidence, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. I am your host, Joshua David, and we are happy to have you with us today. I do have along my good friend, my good colleague, my tag team partner, Al Connickson. Al, guess what? It is our 500th episode of recording on our podcast today. How are you doing today?
Hey, fantastic. It almost makes me feel old. 500.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
Not too much longer. We're going to hit that 1,000. We're going to have a huge party coming up.
You know what? And we've enjoyed all 500 of them.
Yeah, it's a good time talking about the financial
Listen
markets.
to that crowd. I mean, they're just going crazy. They're going wild.
I love it. Let's talk about our sponsor real quick, Online Trading Academy. The sponsor of the show, actually on their 25th year, teaching people just like you how to trade and invest in the financial markets. When we talk about the financial markets, that's all the markets: stocks, bonds, options, futures, forex, cryptocurrency. We actually have local academies all across the world, specifically right here in Denver, Colorado, and Bloomington, Minnesota. So investing with confidence is nationwide. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how great these markets have been, Al, because we've had... You know, it almost feels like if you had a child that grew up in the 90s, and when Nintendo came out, I think that was in the 80s when it came out, but Nintendo came out and there was a game called Contra, and there was a cheat code that you could do, and it was up, down, left, right, select, start, and that was the cheat code to get some new lives and stuff like that.
You memorized that cheat code, didn't
everybody memorized that cheat code, but that's what the market is doing. It's up one day, it's down the next day, up the next day, down the next day. Investors are actually a little confused in these markets.
Right.
So let's talk through how we make smarter decisions, no matter which way this volatility is pushing this markets. But we had some news pushing things. The inflation report came out on Thursday. I know you're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. The jobless claims wasn't the best that we've seen. Amazon, we had a stock split and some buyback, 20-1. Lots going on here today. I don't even know where you're going to start, but let's hear it.
There is a lot. We could do a whole show on just what's happened in the market in the last couple of days. You mentioned Amazon. They're doing a 20-for-1 stock split, about time. And they also announced a $10 billion buyback. So a couple of things that have really hit the price of Amazon on the upside. But it's going to be a lot more affordable for a lot more people, which is one of the reasons companies do stock splits.
That's a good thing. I think that's why it jumped up that day. I believe it went up 5%.
Oh, absolutely. We had a big day. And then the buyback also was a big part of it, because as more shares are taken out of the market, the price per share goes up. So a couple of positives there for Amazon. But, you talked about the market. If you go back to the beginning of the year to where we are now, all of the indexes are down.
Yeah.
NASDAQ's in bear territory.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the stocks in the S&P 500 are also in bear territory.
Yeah, down 10% plus. I think the NASDAQ hit down 20% at one point already.
But it was, right. Absolutely. That's bear territory. When the downside is 20% or more, we consider that a bear market. In the Dow, there's only, 7 stocks that are up in the Dow.
And
out
how
of
many
30.
are there?
There's
out of
30
30
stocks. And 15 of those are down double digits.
Which is concerning.
Well, it is concerning. And, if you look at what's happened, we had an inflation report on Thursday the 9th. Inflation was up to a level of 7.9%. There's a lot of people out there that say realistically it's closer to 9 or 10%, but that's a 40-year high. That's huge. And you know what? That inflation report came out before the impact of the Russian-Ukraine situation really has hit.
Yeah.
That's going to show up in the March inflation report. So I can't imagine that's going to get any better. And so the oil embargo, our refusal to accept Russian oil, that's on the horizon. Other countries are doing the same thing. People kind of forget about wheat. Ukraine, Russia, they're huge producers of wheat.
Yeah, and we use that every day.
Absolutely. The world
everything.
does. So we really haven't seen the full impact of what's happening with Russia and Ukraine. But if you go back to the 8th, Wednesday the 8th, the market just skyrocketed.
On the 8th?
On the 8th, right.
Okay.
Let's see, the Dow was up 2%, 653 points. The S&P 107 points. That's 2.6%. The NASDAQ up 459 points.
Yeah.
In one day in a downtrending market. So what's going on there? Well, what happened between Tuesday and Wednesday? Did Russia withdraw from Ukraine? Did all of a sudden all sorts of oil show up that wasn't there before? No, nothing really changed other than people thinking something would change in the future. And what we find, if you look at a bear market, in bear markets, some of the biggest one-day upward moves during a bear market will happen during a bear market. So, that was a situation on Wednesday the 8th, I think, where a lot of people thought, well, we hit bottom in the market. Things are going really well. Then that inflation report came out showing inflation was getting worse. And then the consumer or the employment report, or I should say jobless report, came out. There were more jobless claims, 227,000 compared to the forecast, which was 217,000. People are looking at wages are going up. So isn't everything okay? No, because inflation is outpacing wages. Yeah. So we've got a lot of downward issues in the market. And I don't mean to be negative, because downward moves in the market is just an opportunity in a different direction. So it's important, really important now, more than ever, for you to learn how to take advantage of different market conditions. And if you don't know how to do it, it's because no one's taught you, no one's giving you that knowledge. That's exactly what the Online Trading Academy does.
Yeah, and I want to continue talking about that downward opportunity in the next segment here. It's called shorting, and we're going to explain that so investors can see, okay, there are opportunities in down markets. But what Al's talking about here is there's a lot of news in the markets. There's a lot of things happening in the world, and which really creates opinion. Yeah, and right. Opinions it's tough to use opinions in the markets because it's emotional. And that's what you're talking about with, people are looking for and need strategies, especially like income strategies, to combat a lot of this inflation. So you're not at risk to the market. You're basically, hopefully you're able to combat that or hedge that. And we're going to continue to talk about that here today. So opinions don't move the markets. And that's why it's so important, as you mentioned with Online Trading Academy, is having a strategy to follow what the market is telling you to do, not reacting to it. We're seeing downtrends in the market. We always like to say it's good to follow the trend. Well, if the market is going down, investors are losing if they are just in buy and hold strategies.
Correct.
And they're saying, oh, it'll come back. Well, if it does, great. If it doesn't, then it's kind of you're up by that one creek that we don't like to talk about. But it's all about having strategies to combat that stuff. And we have these strategies at these different investing classes that you actually teach here at Online Trading Academy, local here in Denver and also in Bloomington. So I want to give away, let's do this. Let's go 20 tickets for callers 1 through 10 right now. You're going to receive 2 tickets for this investing class to get started in the markets to make smarter investing decisions. Call right now. 888-682-6466. That's 888-682-6466, or just text the word invest to the number 484848. Al, coming out next, I want to talk about that good old term status quo and how to help people make decisions now when it's sometimes tough to do. Coming up next.